Hey guys, I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo23. I've had a lot of requests lately about different things I've done to my BAR-10, and this is one of the videos I'll be showing you guys about how to dismantle the hop-up system of the BAR-10 by JG. So I'm going to go ahead and take these two screws out. There's only two Phillips head screws holding this little bar in. Now, you may also have a plastic piece that you put up in here, a little black piece that came with it, that I did not put in there. It's basically used so that you don't over-tighten the screw and strip it out, but, you know, this metal's strong enough, it's going to last quite a while. Okay, you got that out, set it aside. The next step in doing this is to take out this Phillips head screw. Shouldn't take you more than a second. Set it aside. Now you can literally unscrew your barrel clockwise. So turn it to the right. It might take a minute. It's got quite a bit of threading on it. There's no need to take out your bolt system or anything. It's not really that big of a deal. Set this entire body aside. All you're going to need is your barrel for now. Next step, take a smaller Phillips head screwdriver and unscrew the small screw that's holding the adjustment bar in place and set that aside. Now, you may think that this thing unscrews, but if you've got a newer model, it's going to be really tight in there. It actually took me a while to work mine out. All you got to do is push it out and it falls out. Now you can set the entire barrel aside. Now, as you can see, this is the entire hop-up chamber here. The little metal bar attaches here so you can adjust it. The loading mouth thing is right here. You can see the hop-up bucking in there and a little black thing that presses down whenever you load the next round. This is a really easy thing to adjust and operate. There are 5 screws on the JG model, one here, 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 and here. You'll need to take those all out, but start by taking out the screw that holds the actual hop-up adjustment system in place. So this screw and the 2 screws here. I'm not sure if other models have a silver screw on top, but for some reason the silver screw only fits on top because it's a slightly different length. Now, like I said, I recently took apart an AGM model, the VSR-10, and it was a little different. The hop-up mechanism is smaller, but on the VSR-10 version by AGM, there is a small screw that sits right here that is not on the Toki Marui or other versions such as the JG. Okay, you got that entire arm out. You can go ahead and unscrew the 2 screws that hold the actual body of this thing together. Now I'm going to hold this pretty tight shut so that I can actually show you guys what it looks like right when you take it apart. Now, if you're just taking this apart for the first time, it's either going to be really dry without any grease, or it's going to be really greasy and you're going to want a towel or something. Okay. Take it apart. There isn't really much to it. You got this entire side here. You got the adjustment bar. You got what I call the hop-up arm, which actually is the part here that pushes down onto the hop-up bucking. I'm going to leave that in place. And you've also got this little arm, which sits right here with a small spring on top, so don't lose that. If you're wanting to upgrade to a tight bore barrel, all you're going to need to do is take the hop-up bucking off, put your new barrel on, and basically just, you know, it's pretty easy. Just put it back in. And you also might have these barrel spacers on here. You'll also want to put those on your new barrel too, or if you upgraded some better brand barrel spacers that work a little better, you can put those on too. Now, your hop-up bucking will have to align properly when you put it back in with this little bar that's sticking up right here. Now, you might not be able to see that, so I'll have the camera focus on it. I forget it. Anyway, there is a little bar here. You can kind of see when I turn it. Also, for those of you wanting to do a Teflon Tape Mod, the best way to do that is to literally take some Teflon tape, cut it in half or so it doesn't interfere with the little bar that sticks up here, and wrap it around this. Now, don't use too much or else it'll just be really too tight and it'll just end up screwing up your system. Now I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this. It's kind of a pain to reassemble to an extent. I mean, if you're practiced at it, you can get it pretty fast, but I've only done it a few times, so I'm still getting used to it, but there is obviously a learning curve to taking hop-ups apart. You got to get used to it. So make sure that little arm is in place right there. Press it in all the way. Make sure the spring is not sticking up at the top here. Go ahead and put these two screws back in and tighten them. You may also want to grease up everything in there so you get a better air seal. It just doesn't sit in there dry. You may also want to grease this little arm here so that it can move a little more easily. Those of you that don't have grease, go to Airsoft GI or any airsoft retail store and buy some grease. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be gear grease. Cylinder grease is probably the best if you're looking for air seal, but gear grease will work just fine if you're just looking for moving parts. Reinsert the screws. My silver screw goes on top. It might be different for you guys, depending on what brand you got. Put this little arm retaining screw back in if it'll stay. And it doesn't look like it wants to today. Make sure you don't put these screws in the wrong way. It will strip out the metal and the screw and it can be a real pain. Alright, now that that's done, take your hop-up, your barrel, make sure you got the mouth of the barrel here, and push it in so that the arm and the hole can be aligned so that you can reinstall that little silver bar that sits flush on the plastic adjustment arm. After that's done, you can go ahead and put it back onto your body. You might also want to grease up the nozzle just a little bit to get a better air seal, just a little bit. Too much will just screw with things. Now, you'll know if you're over-tightening it because it won't go all the way. So turn it back to where it'll fit and reinsert this screw and tighten it. No matter what, your barrel is going to have a little bit of wobble. Don't worry about that. Now you can go ahead and reinstall this large metal piece here. On the AGM model of this gun, it may be a little hard to install this. Believe me, it took me forever to install it on the AGM. It is a little smaller, but you kind of have to work with it. This takes some time and a lot of patience. Okay. If you've just done this for the first time, you have successfully disassembled your JG BAR-10 hop-up bucking or other brand hop-up system. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo 23. Hope this helped.